Hello and welcome to ET Edge Insights exclusive interview series. Today we have with us Murali. He's the president of Xiaomi India. Murali, thank you for taking your time out and speaking to ET
Thanks,
Edge
Anmoy.
Insights.
Looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you very much. Let me begin by asking you, when we're talking about customer centricity, what does it mean to you and how does this align to your overall business strategy?
From the perspective of Xiaomi, I can answer this from so many different dimensions, but let me distill this to the very essence.
Right.
The customer is essentially at the center of pretty much everything that we do, right? And we really want them to love us, trust us, and recommend us to so many of their friends and families. And that, if when you start with that philosophy, it starts permeating pretty much everything that you do in the value chain. The product, what you pack into that product, the way you market it, the way you distribute it, the way you service and support customers, it permeates pretty much every aspect of your business processes and value chain. And that's a mantra that we've been following ever since we started way back in 2010, which is why you have millions of people who proudly call themselves Xiaomi fans. That's because they realize there's something very different, something special about the brand, and that's something that we're very, very proud of, right? You just put the customer in the center of everything that you do.
Right, right. Wow, that's a very novel idea. In today's day and age, when technology is rapidly evolving, or rather, we can say it's accelerating, and technology almost at the forefront, how do you manage to stay, with the latest technology, and at the same time manage to satisfy the customer's expectations?
Let me just wind the clock back into some of the key decisions that we've taken on the product side. And I'll just keep it to the last few years. Right. Today, a smartphone is such an integral part of everybody's life. You start with the alarm and then it goes through the night till in the end you're like doom scrolling whatever before you go to sleep, and pretty much through the 24 hours of the day there is something or the other you do with your phone. And hence people are demanding a lot more from their phone. And we are in constant conversations with customers, doing customer surveys, listening to feedback on social media, listening to the reviews they put out on our products, etc. And all of that influences the decisions we take. Let me take a few examples. Because people were consuming a lot of video content on their phone, watching Netflix, watching YouTube, watching Prime Video, Hotstar, etc., etc. They started demanding screens with, let's say, a better resolution, better color saturation and better contrast, and larger screens, right? So a lot of our mid to high end phones today come with an AMOLED display, right? Which obviously is significantly better than an LCD display because the color saturation and the contrast is much better on an AMOLED display, number one. Number two, also the screen sizes have become larger. Earlier, phones used to be maybe 5.5 inch. Now you have 6.5, 6.7 inch large screens because you're watching an entire movie on the phone. The third example is gaming has become an increasing use case. And in gaming, one specific need is fast refresh rate of the screen, right? Because action is changing so rapidly. So we started introducing fast refresh rate displays. Today, we have displays that can refresh as much as 120 Hertz. The standard refresh rate is 30 Hertz. Right? You talk about 120 Hertz refresh rate display so that the viewing experience is very, very smooth. So that's one example on the display on how we've taken customer feedback, influence product decision. Let me take another example, battery, right? Because you use your phone so much, the battery runs out quite quickly. And all of us have gone through the pangs of, let's say it's 7 p.m. and then, your battery is at less than 10%, you have to charge it again, especially if you're at work. It just becomes very difficult when you're jumping meeting to meeting. So we did 2-3 things there. One, again, basis customer feedback, we increased the size of the battery, right? From 3000 mAh to 4000 mAh. Today, 5000 mAh is standard for any smartphone, number one. Number two, but that isn't enough, right? Nobody is willing to wait for 2 hours to get their phone charged. Remember those days when it used to take 2 hours to charge the phone? Nobody has the patience anymore because every 5 minutes you want to pull it out and check your WhatsApp and check your email and check your Twitter and social media and so on and so forth. So therefore, we introduced fast charging, right? 33 watt fast charging, 67 watt fast charging, 120 watt fast charging. In fact, for the phone that I use, the Xiaomi 13 Pro, it charges the phone from 0 to 100% in just 20 minutes.
That's fabulous.
Right? That's a 120 watt hypercharge. Again, this is a very clear example of there is a customer need. The customer need has been expressed. The customer didn't say, I want 120 watt fast charging. The customer said the charging is taking too long. right? And as a customer centric company, we take that feedback, change it into a tech feature or a product feature that adds value to the customer's experience, right? And one can just keep talking about numerous examples like this. Let me give you a third example. And this is to do with smart televisions. Let me jump a different category that we operate in. So we launched smart televisions in 2018. And at that point of time, I think 70% of the televisions that were sold were non-smart. That is, they couldn't connect to the internet.
Right.
We launched the smart television in February or March of 2018, but we came with a very different paradigm. We came with a new experience that we call patch wall. That is a software experience. In that, we put content first, right? If you open your phone, what do you see? You see apps,
Right.
right? Earlier, smart televisions, when you launch the television, you only used to see apps. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. People want to consume content on the television,
Right.
right? So in the patch wall, content comes first. Apps are at the back end. So it'll tell you what is the latest release in, let's say, Netflix. It'll tell you that, for example, yesterday there's an India-South Africa match going. That's the big banner.
Right.
It'll tell you there's a new release. Maybe, Shah Rukh Khan's Jawan has come on OTT. So it shows that. So these are the banners that are playing on that patch wall interface. Again, a very simple example of we put ourselves in the customer's shoe, said, look, showing app icons on a television makes no sense. Instead, let me showcase the content, whether it's web series, whether it's movies, whether it's sports, whether it's documentaries, and showcase that right up on that big TV screen so that the customer gets access to it in one click, right? So these are examples of how you actually tune your business to become more customer centric despite advancing technology. Advancing technology is actually, it'll work to your advantage, not your disadvantage, if you're truly customer centric.
Right. Right. For brand loyalty and trust, I believe, this goes a long way.
Oh, absolutely.
So is there any particular strategy? I mean, obviously you've touched upon taking customer feedback, but other than that, is there anything you can talk about with regards to how does Xiaomi build its customer loyalty and the brand loyalty?
Okay, I'll try to come to this from 2-3 different dimensions, right? First is the core philosophy of Xiaomi. And that core philosophy says we want to deliver innovation for everyone, right? First, that's your overarching philosophy. So that itself includes people and innovation in a very, very all-encompassing manner. So that's the first dimension. The second dimension is the example that I gave earlier, where you keep customer centricity at all key points in your value chain.
Right.
And then interesting stuff, magic happens. The third, and this is actually a secret sauce for Xiaomi, is I told you about the Xiaomi fans. Now, Xiaomi fans are people like you and me.
Right.
They're no different. They're normal users. But for us, they are special. Why? Because they have such great affinity to the brand and the products and the technology that we bring out. Today in India, I think there are about 26 Xiaomi fan clubs.
Wow.
These are self-organized clubs, right? So they form their own clubs. They elect their own president. They meet every week. They talk about Xiaomi. They talk about technology. They talk about competition, etc., etc. But it's largely self-organized, self-regulated, right? And once in a while, we organize fan meets for them. For example, there was a Xiaomi Insider Meet in Bangalore.
Right.
Right? I think there was also another one in Hyderabad over the weekend. Sometimes we organize these meetings. Sometimes they organize it themselves. Now, these Xiaomi fans, I would go to the extent of saying there are our biggest pillars of support and our biggest critiques. Why do they criticize Xiaomi? Why? Because they love the brand so much that they only want us to get better, right? And when you have supporters like that, you will only get better, right? So your philosophy is one of being customer centric. You have introduced customer centricity in the entire value chain. Third, and most important, the secret sauce of Xiaomi is that you have Xiaomi fans who are always keeping you honest and sincere, saying, look, this thing that you did is not right? Sometimes we might agree, sometimes we might disagree, but the discussion is always open and of mutual respect, right? And honestly, Tharma, I think it's things like this that make us the most trusted smartphone brand in this country. As per the TRA research, and I think we've been that for the last 2-3 years. In fact, amongst all categories, we are number 2. This doesn't happen in a vacuum. This doesn't happen in a thin air. It's because you've just taken customer centricity and put it at the center of everything that you do.
Right. Fantastic. Looking ahead, is there any goal or any strategy you're planning in the next few years with regards to your innovation mantra?
The beauty about India is that we've always, at least in the last couple of decades, proven that we will leapfrog technology generations.
Right.
Right? For the most part, the entire 3G wave, we pretty much leapfrogged into 4G. And now 5G presents another significant opportunity with faster bandwidth, low latency, high concurrency, just significantly better quality of experience. And our belief is that amongst the various brands in this country, Xiaomi is uniquely positioned to actually truly democratize 5G in this country, because that's always been our forte, right? Of delivering devices with such attractive, honest pricing that market explodes exponentially. And we just launched a device a few months ago on the 1st of August called the Redmi 12 5G, priced at 10,999 at the launch time. So we believe 10 to 15,000 price segment is going to be the biggest 5G segment in this country. And people need strong phones there with no compromises. And the Redmi 12 5G checks off all boxes. It's just got a gorgeous design. You should check it out sometime. So 5G becomes one significant opportunity. The second opportunity let's say the first mantra is 5G for everyone. The second mantra is on the smart TV space. And there, not only are people now preferring larger screens, because of the availability of content, people want 4K displays, like high resolution displays. Absolutely. And today you also have the bandwidth to support 4K streaming. So the second mantra that we want to adopt is 4K for everyone. Like make fantastic 43 and 50, 55 inch 4K televisions available.
And at an affordable price?
At an honest price, as we call it, right? So our mantra is very simple: best specs, highest quality, honest pricing, right? If you check off all three boxes, you have a great proposition for the consumer. So the second, I think, big magic that will happen is in terms of 4K for everyone. People will start upgrading from FHD, UHD onto 4K. The third one, and this might take a little bit longer, but as 5G penetrates more into homes, this opportunity will also become big, is a smart home for everyone. Like we have this fantastic portfolio of home AIoT products. Smart air purifier, smart water purifier, smart air fryer, smart security camera, smart lamp, smart bulb, like smart television, smart everything, right? And all of them are connected and controlled through your phone. Smart robo vacuum cleaner, right? All of them are controlled from the phone. Over a period of time, people will start realizing the value of having all of that in your fingertip, instead of going and switching something on. Things are disconnected, So this would be the next big change that could happen in terms of home electronics and home automation. So 5G for everyone, 4K for everyone, and smartphone for everyone. I think this would be the three large overarching themes that we want to pursue in India when it comes to technology and innovation.
On that note, Murali, thank you very much for your precious time. It was a wonderful discussion.
I truly enjoyed it.
And I wish you all the best for your
Thank you so much. Thank you.